Jim McNulty has signed another extension to his contract. He's contracted here now until 2019. He's a model professional, isn't he? And he must be really pleased that he's committed his future again to the club.
It's important that we can take care of business like we are doing, and Jim is a great servant to the football club, myself and the game. He is progressing in age, but not just age experience, and he's using all his experiences to try and manage the team, our ambitions and his own performances, and he's maturing into an outstanding leader on the football pitch and the training pitch. And I'm glad to have done business with Jim, because he knows that the next 2 or 3 seasons anything can happen, positively and negatively, and it's important that he uses his experiences to gain more success. And I think he had what was a very difficult season, start to the season has turned into a tremendous season for Jim last season. He had problems with his hearing, and he's adjusted, and he's now accepted that he's partially deaf in one ear. And I think some of his performances were outstanding. I remember the 3 each against Sheffield United, and even though we conceded 3 goals, his performance that day was outstanding. And he does deliver at times inconsistencies, but they're the type of inconsistencies that I'll accept, because he's brave in trying to excel in the way that I expect him and Rochdale to play.
And I suppose it's great planning again for you for the future when you've got him and Joe Rafferty now contracted for another couple of seasons as well.
We've got to continue with the continuity at the football club, and there's got to be a mainstay and an inbred backbone that gives us the opportunity to recruit players who don't know the way that we do things. And these players that we're retaining have to integrate the new players very quickly, and they will do, because they're all good teachers, they're good learners. And while the ball's not been kicked, I'm still looking at the jigsaw and thinking, wow, we have got to be very proud of what we do. I spoke to a manager during the week. A manager phoned me up, and I'm not mentioning any names. How do you do what you do? Why? Well, everybody looks at your squad of players and think relegation. And that's not being disrespectful to the players, but we've got a bunch of players together. The general census of opinion is, and it's not census of opinion, it's proven that we're overachieving, 29 places above where you averagely finish. But the football world generally know that we're living in one of the smaller budget worlds of professional football. People look at our squad. How are you doing what you do with that squad of players? It's not me, it's the players who believe in what we do, and we give players opportunities to go to the next level. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, Matty Lund, there'll be other players, players who are under contract who are being sought after by other football clubs at this moment in time, and any time during the course of the season. So we do it because we're hardworking. We have a template, we have a framework that we work within, and those players are integral in that. The players are the king of any football club, and it's important that the players believe in the plan and the structure of the football club, and they do, and everybody's successful. There's no one player bigger than the rest of this football club, and that's why we get the success. We're a team, we're a unit, and we work hard to make sure that we are 29 places above where we should arguably finish season on season.
You say it's not about you, it's about the players, but surely you must take some credit for having those plans and practices in place that the players buy into, because obviously without you they wouldn't have those perfect sort of ideologies almost.
Well, we work on strong principles, and at any one given time those players, they can shake, they can waver, they can want to go somewhere else. And then it's just coming up with the right solution to any problem that we potentially have with players individually. If a player feels as though he's bigger than the football club, he has to leave. It's as simple as that. Because we can't affect the integrity of the squad unit. And there will be players who do leave naturally, whether it's through the back door or the front door. If players want to leave who are on the contract, then they'll have to do the right things. We haven't got any players who've suggested that they want to leave. Everybody's got an ambition at this football club to be more successful than the previous season's displays. and the framework is guided by myself and the staff, and we are very conscious of the framework, and anyone who wants to step outside that framework potentially will or could undermine the framework, and if they do that, then there'll be no place at Rochdale Football Club for them. But as a staff, we're very good at policing the framework, and that's where it's important. I think any manager is only as good as the staff and the policing of the framework that they expect. And some of the players are superb at policing it. Ian Henderson, Calvin Andrew, Jim McNulty, and there's many more. Some of the younger players now, Callum Camps is superb actually, you know, policing the framework, because he knows that it's a winning environment and he wants to protect that winning environment. So it's really good, and you know, it's a privilege for me to be working with these players and give them the framework that they all want to work to.
At this time of year, there's always rumours circulating, and it's no different this year either. Has there been any concrete bids or concrete interest shown in our players, or is it just that speculation and rumour?
It's just speculation and rumour. There's a lot of underhand ways that players are projected and publicised in the media. And if that's the case, like I would do as a manager, and I want one of your players, I'd phone you up and show you a little bit of respect and your club. Because we're a very, very respectful club. If we want players, we get in touch with the chief exec, the chairman and the manager. And it's really important. Two of the players that have left, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang and Matty Lund, I've had phone calls off managers, football clubs to say that we'll be taking one of your players, and those are players who are out of contract. So any player who's under contract at my football club, who's wanted by other football clubs, don't do your business through the press. Don't do your business through a reliable source. Do your business the right way, the old-fashioned way, the granddad way, the dad way. Use your values, your moral values, your monetary values. Get in touch with me, get in touch with the chairman, get in touch with the football club, the chief exec. Don't mislead players who are under contract at other football clubs, because it's not the right way to do business. Should
they come in with a firm bid, will you do your best to keep these players, or will it be a case of if there is a value that perhaps we will have to sell?
No, nobody's leaving this football club. It's as simple as that. The players that we have got are all under contract for at least one more season. If you're under the age of 24 and you're under contract, it's tribunal if you do want to leave. I don't suggest that anybody wants to leave, but the value for money that for the players that we've got will retain, and there's no question about that. If there was a bid that came in that was supernatural and we had to accept, then we would do that, because you know we are common sense people at this football club, and we'll take a common sense approach. But 5 seasons ago I had Craig Dawson, who was throwing transfer requests in after transfer request on the bad advice of his agent and his representatives. But when it came down to football, and Craig realised that the only way that you can actually get yourself a move is by performing better, when he came back to play football, he was absolutely superb. And he got his rightful move to West Bromwich Albion the right way, when West Bromwich Albion started getting in contact with a football club, instead of trying to do a deal behind everybody's back through agents, representatives, and getting to the player himself. And the rest is history. Craig Dawson is now a very, very successful Premier League player. And we have done really well into the Craig Dawson deal that saw him go to West Brom, but West Brom did business the right way.
Just in terms of yourself, will you have an opportunity to take a break? Because obviously it's been a long season for you.
I'll definitely take a break. I took a mini break already, but while I'm breaking, there's also business to be done. There's also the opportunity to use the phone at least once a day. But I'm at an age now and a standing in the game where I've completed 10 years as a manager, where I can leave the phone in the room now and not let it interrupt valuable time with my little boy and my wife and my daughters and my granddaughter. It's really important that they share my time, because once the season starts, you know, the stresses that management life puts you under, you know, it's very, very difficult at times. There are a lot of stresses, and that's why I sympathise and I almost agree with what Sam Allardyce has done. I think he's been a tremendous manager in his own right, tremendous advocate for young managers like myself when it comes to offering advice and the way to do things. But I also listened to the way that he was almost suggesting that the stress of the game and being a manager, never mind in the Premier League, just being a manager, he suggested, can outweigh any sort of like resemblance of normal life. And you know, that's why I look at what he's done with you know, not outstanding jealousy, but you know, a tip of the hat towards what he's done. But the pressures it's put him under, and people argue that he's a multi-millionaire. He deserves to be a multi-millionaire, but for that sacrifice, he's probably sacrificed a lot of family time as well.